Ever since Tommy Cash announced that he would participate in the Estonian national selection for Eurovision this year, the buzz around him has been massive. Along with my editor Jay, I went to Estonia last weekend to see if the hype was deserved. In addition, we got to cover the entirety of Eesti Laul, which is the Estonian national final, and meet a whole range of incredible artists and amazing creators. All of the result of that work is coming up over the next 35 minutes. Very quickly though, there's a couple of things we have to go through here first. The first thing is the standard like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. You can support us financially using Patreon or YouTube or Coffee or whatever else. All the details are in the description. Make sure to follow me and my editor Jay on social media too. The second thing is, unfortunately, the very first part of this video is going to have to be here in this room instead of in Estonia. I recorded an entire intro highlighting the 5 biggest frontrunners to win Eesti Laul, and in addition, we recorded it on location at the place where one of those entries' music videos was filmed. Ironically, given that that location was where Minimal Wind filmed their video, we can't use that section because there is too much wind. Seriously, the entire thing just sounds like this. That's both in terms of the other participants tonight, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. Because of that, I'm going to quickly go through what I said there, again here, and then we're going to get straight into the second part of the video. That means we're going to have a quick rundown of those 5 songs. Firstly, we're going to talk about the one I just mentioned, Armageddon by Minimal Wind. This isn't the first time that Minimal Wind have participated in Eesti Laul, and they were a fan favourite and nearly won the whole show last time they were here. Minimal Wind's song this year, Armageddon, is a really beautiful, tender ballad. As with the last time, it's immediately become a favourite among Eurovision fans. Before the show, it was one of the favourites to win as well. These songs are always difficult to translate live. For that reason, ahead of the show, I was worried about whether it would work or not. As for whether it did, you'll have to wait and see. Secondly, we're going to talk about someone who will shortly be featuring in this video. That is Ant with his song Tomorrow Never Comes. Before I talk about this, I want to say thank you so much to Ant, who speaks to us in this video. You're going to see him in a minute, and talked a little bit more about what it's like to prepare for these shows. Part of making these vlogs is about lifting the curtain a little bit and getting a glimpse into what artists go through in order to deliver their best possible performance. I want to give you guys an insight that you haven't seen anywhere else. Hopefully, that interview will form part of that. You'll see it in a moment. Tomorrow Never Comes is a really strong power ballad, and in the eyes of most people ahead of the show, it was probably the second favourite to win. That's because Ant has a big fan base in Estonia already. He won the Estonian equivalent of Pop Idol a couple of years ago. The big thing that Ant needed was a perfect production, a perfect staging, and for his voice to be 100% on point. Going to Estonia, we already knew that some of the production problems that he'd been having in the rehearsals hadn't been fully resolved. While some of them did get resolved in time for the live show, others didn't. Again, we'll talk more about it later. Thirdly, we have Ann Marlon with her song Kulm. One thing that I am particularly happy about with this one is that I returned home from Estonia with a copy of Ann Marlon's latest album on vinyl. Kulm is a club banger, but the underlying message is very serious. You have this kind of discord between this warm, uplifting music and these much sadder lyrics. The title of the song literally means cold. This kind of genre of music can be a little niche, but her vocals are absolutely exceptional, and she has this really ethereal quality to her voice, which really adds a lot. Before the show, I wasn't sure whether this would be in contention to win, but at the same time, I had high hopes for it, and I did think there was a real chance of it making it to the 3-song superfinal. Again, you'll have to wait and see to see if that happens. We have 2 more songs to talk about, and of course, I am going to talk about Tommy Cash in a moment, but first, we have Andrei Zevakin and Karita. Their song is Ma ei tea sind. Andrei Zevakin is a very interesting character in Estonia. He's primarily an influencer and a YouTuber, but this also isn't the first time he's tried to go to Eesti Laul. On paper, to be honest, his song was right up my street, and pre-show, based on the tracks alone, this is probably my favourite. That said, there's long been discourse about how well he can sing live, and Karita is his girlfriend and has never performed on stage before. Because of that, this had a lot of question marks and a really big range of, well, it could do great, but it could also do terribly. The other thing that we as international fans wouldn't get is that a lot of Estonians have said that the lyrics are a little childish, that they're a little cringe and similar. Again, it remains to be seen whether that will have an effect on his result or not. Finally, we have Tommy Cash. His song is Espresso Macchiato. A lot has happened in the week since Eesti Laul, but taking us back to that time just before the show, there were a lot of uncertainties here. We weren't sure what kind of staging he was going to bring. We were already not so sure because the song was so different to his previous work, whether we'd get something totally outrageous or totally show-stopping. For me, at this stage, before the show, that's what I felt this song needed. I was really hoping to see a moment to elevate it to the next level. It always seemed very likely that Tommy would win, and he came in as the overwhelming favourite. That said, I felt at this stage, just before the show, that there was still a chance of someone else winning. With that is the section that was destroyed by the wind now finished, and we can get right on to what happened in Estonia. We are really excited about this video, and we had such a great time making it, so I hope you enjoy it as much as we have. Luckily, there was one small part which didn't break on top of the Linnahall, which is where the original intro was filmed. Once you've seen that, we'll be straight on to meeting up with Ant and speaking to him about his experience. Without further ado, Jay will now do some kind of cool transition to take us to Estonia. In my opinion, those 5 songs I've talked about are going to be the top 5 tonight, so look out for them in our rehearsal recap in a moment. One more thing to clarify, and I did just mention it briefly in what I just said. Eesti Laul has a super final. What that means is the top 3 songs go through to a second round of voting where the public then vote again and decide on who wins. In the first round, you have half the votes coming from the public and half the votes coming from the jury. What this means is the public do ultimately get to decide their entry. And because it's the top 3 that go to the super final, it's actually pretty difficult for the juries to firebomb somebody so bad that they don't make it through. As a result, the public vote winner in this selection is almost always the Eurovision entrant. That means I think the most likely outcome tonight is a battle between Tommy Cash and Ant, with very different constituencies of voters, but both constituencies with a high propensity to want to push their respective acts to the contest. My fingers are about to freeze off, so we are now going to get in a taxi and go and see Ant, who we're going to be speaking to about his experience in Eesti Laul so far. We will see you there in a moment, but for now, here is a SpongeBob SquarePants transition.
A few moments later.
How are you feeling right now?
Thanks for asking, Gabe. I think I'm feeling very good but tired at the same time. It's one of those moments, that's projects that you gave your all. It's very tiring and very frustrating in a good sense, but you know that you're doing this for a good cause, for your own cause, and then it feels amazing at the same time. I'm kind of relaxed in some points. I'm kind of like, if I go home and everything is done, all my checklist is done for the day, all the rehearsal is done, when I sit, then the butterflies come. It's like, oh, okay, it's actually real. Like, so this mind is not getting there when you don't sit and relax.
It's been a couple of days now of technical rehearsals. I know not everything has gone totally smoothly. Could you talk us through, because I know you had to go back late last night, right? What happened there?
Due to me being as the first open act of the show, I am on the earliest of the rehearsals. So that means that with everyone having like 1.5 hours for the first rehearsal, just to set the stage show and so on, I was singing my high notes at 8:45 or something like that. I'm usually not a good morning person. We filled our slot basically, but then we realized our backtrack, which is my ear monitors, are longer than what's supposed to be. So all the directing and the camera angles, they were coming late, even though I was doing. And the broadcasters realized this until in the very last minutes of my first rehearsal, and they told me like. We said that we don't have anything to show you and how it looks like because everything was behind it. So I was asked to come after everybody's done. So that corresponds to like 10:30ish in the evening, almost nighttime. But then since everything takes time, more than they planned, so I was there at like 11:30, starting with my rehearsal again, and that time I didn't have back vocals also, so I had to sing all thing by myself, which was vocally tiring a little bit, not to feel support. But I mean, we have it done, since we had like a quick check. But then it was a good feeling, even though it was tiring. And I watched others also, it was fun.
When we spoke a few weeks ago, your family was away.
Yeah.
You've been very much sort of in the zone. Are they back now? Have you seen them? Are they coming to the show? And how did it feel to have to be away from them for so long to sort of focus on this?
I would say I got my own habits while they were away. It was a transitional moment for me because I was so in the zone. It always distracts me in a good meaning, obviously, but and they coming back really meant a lot to me actually. So I was, even though I was like working out a lot, was in the zone. I was not getting enough sleep actually. So with them coming back, I think I find the relaxation that I needed, because when you're at home, you're just watching the walls. Like the emptiness wasn't much for me. But now they're back. Actually, my wife and my kids came back with my mom, who was in Turkey. She came to watch the show, and today, actually, one day before the show, my aunt and my brother is also coming. So yeah, my mom is gonna see the Estonian star's son first time in her life. So it's kind of like a weird feeling for me, like so to say, because she has been seen in social media a lot of things. So obviously we talk over these things also, but she will, with her eyes, first time will see this. This is exciting for me, to be honest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gabe.
A little while later.
So where are we going now?
It's very snowy. We're going to find the press entrance at the Unibet arena, which is where the event is hosted tonight. And apparently it's around the back here.
Yeah, Loki looks a bit sketcy, but
I might just try clicking my fingers like we normally do, because usually when I click my fingers it puts us somewhere more useful afterwards. So I'm just going to do it now.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's better.
Mi amore, espresso macchiato, 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 por favore, por favore.
So rehearsal has just finished, and by the time you see this video, you will already know what has happened with the result. But is it just me, or is it a bit more open than it was a couple of hours ago? With the possible exception of minimal wind, everyone who I expected to do well, did well. But I have to say, and I'll put the tweet on screen, my main thought with Tommy Cash was, is this it? I just thought there would be some kind of wow moment, some kind of wow factor, and while it was quite nicely and smoothly done with a little dancing and stuff, I just didn't see the kind of showstopper that I needed to see this and go, yes, this is winning. To be honest, while I still think that's the most likely result, I think the door's cracked open now, and if you're Ant or Anne Marlon, Andre Zeverkin, maybe even Minimal Wind, I think you come out of this rehearsal thinking this could be our chance.
A few minutes later.
I am joined by Kova from V-Sminest. Firstly, I thought you made a very, very good tree. And it got great response on social media as well. We tweeted about it. There were lots of confused people, but also everyone was kind of like, yeah, this is what we expected. And
we are doing like weird shit, yeah.
About the perspective that a lot of people seem to have that this is a foregone conclusion. You know more about the Estonian music industry than any of us do.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I'm not too sure about it being done already. Because to give you some context, I've already noticed that some people have already given the context. We are ready or something. But I'm not too sure, because I think it's going to be pretty tight between Ant and Tommy.
Nope.
Tommy is the favorite, no doubt about it. But I just put my money on Ant because the coefficients were pretty good. The odds were pretty good, and I think it's going to be a tight race because Ant's show is pretty decent, and people in Estonia expect Tommy Cash to deliver something out of this world every time he takes the stage. The thing that we saw was like a softcore version of Just Time. It's nice, it's well staged, the dance is nice, but I think that the Estonians are used to seeing like fucking Tommy Cash is larger than life. They might be somewhat disappointed by that. To give you that context as well, that Tommy's main audience is outside of Estonia.
Yeah.
People know him here, but people also know Ant here. So I think it's gonna be a lot tighter than we expected it to be beforehand.
Nope.
Eesti Laul's winner is going to be decided by a 13-year-old girl in Tallinn and a 60-year-old woman outside of Tallinn.
Right.
Ant has all the 60-year-old women outside of Tallinn. Tommy probably has all the 13-year-old girls, but Andre has them as well. And I think Anne Marlon might have some of them as well.
Okay.
So if Tommy doesn't get the most out of jury, then it's going to be a tight one. And I think Ant's going to get most out of the jury.
Nope.
There is a 3-song super final. Hand on heart now, you have to pick 3 songs. Who's going to that super final? I presume you're saying Tommy Cash, Ant,
And Anne Marlon.
and Anne Marlon.
Nope.
For me, you know us, we like funny shit.
Yeah.
So funnier than Tommy Cash winning and going to the Eurovision would be Tommy Cash not winning. I don't want any. I want him to do well, and he's deserved it, and he's a good lad. But like, given his cockiness and given his confidence that he will win this, it would be funny if he didn't. But I'm not angry if he goes. Like I will root for him if he goes. It probably will go Tommy Cash way, but there is this slight chance, and I don't think Tommy will win by a margin that we did last year.
One thing that might be interesting: Andre sneaks into the super final.
Yeah.
Andre and Tommy split votes because they're splitting the 13-year-old girl and talent votes,
Yes.
and then Ant or whoever else is in the middle of it benefits from that.
Nope.
Could be a possible outcome. I guess we'll see.
Could be, yeah. We'll see. But I think it's going to be tighter than we've expected it to be.
Nope.
Moments later.
It's so pretty. Look at all the snow. I'm having a great time.
So wondrous and joyful.
I know. Oh, I love this country.
The live show is starting in 5 minutes. You've already seen clips of all the performances, so we're not going to do another run in the show. We're going to try and enjoy it. We'll be back with you for the results later on. You can guarantee you're going to see all of our reaction for that. In the meantime, we are going to enjoy the show.
Yay.
We are about to see V-Sminest and Pulup dressed as mushrooms and other things. I want to let you all know I've had an official statement from Paivakoer on the matter, who says Pulup are singing about dancing alone, and they usually have very foresty vibes. So they walk around the forest singing, picking mushrooms, etc. And while doing that, the forest starts coming alive because of mushrooms. Who knows? We don't know anything about these shrooms. Then a great forest wizard appears on a bike and makes everyone do Pilates for some reason. The end. That is the official explanation, direct from Vice-Minister, about what on earth is going on in this opening act. Make of that what you will. We have now seen all 16 songs, and that means there is now a half an hour break before the results start. I have a few things to get off my chest about this show, but I'm going to start with my prediction, which I've just tweeted and I'll put on screen now. You'll obviously know if I'm right or not already. I think we have Tommy, Ant, and one of either Andres Everkin and Kirita or Anne Marlin going to the super final. I think Tommy Cash is going to win it. This might not win me many friends. I have to say I'm quite disappointed both with the performance tonight and with the way he has conducted himself through this process. There is a certain presumption to his behaviour which I think has rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way. I really hope we see something totally different at Eurovision if he wins. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, maybe he's going to bring a different staging. Maybe he's going to give a more advanced package. Right now, this didn't feel like someone giving 100%. I get you don't have to go all out for the national final, but there's preserving your energy and holding something back. And there is treating the show with insufficient respect. I wonder whether we've crossed that line. On the flip side, his vocal was not great this evening. If something odd is going to happen, if there's a curveball in here, it's that he bombs with the juries. That's not impossible, but it seems unlikely. But I hope that there is a change of behaviour going forward if, as we expect, he wins the show tonight. In any case, Estonia should be really proud. This was an ambitious show. Not everything was right. In particular, I think some of the camera direction was off tonight. That was a theme through a lot of performances. This is a bigger arena than last year. It was an ambitious project. They should stick at it. It will be better next year. In the same way we saw UMK take a step forward in a bigger arena just last week. Let's see what happens. The very next thing you see on camera will be the results. I'll see you there.
Later.
It is now time for the jury vote. We are expecting Tommy Cash to maybe not do so great, but I think, to be honest, he will still get enough that the public vote will carry him to the super final. William Lee Adams.
William Lee Adams.
He gets everywhere.
They go to an act who's very sweet, but also a little psycho. It's Jim 98.
What? Okay, that's...
Things already got weird. We're about to hear a big noise in this room. Tommy Cash is going to get 12.
Sorry?
Yes. There we go. And that puts Tommy Cash top of the juries at the moment. He's got this. He has this wrapped.
Yeah. Who's getting the 12?
Oh.
There go. 2, good.
Oh, please tell me she could make the super final. Oh, I'd be so happy for her if she made the superfinal.
Ja 12 punktijana on Nederlandse Madonna is unlucky.
She's 1 point behind first.
Well, there you go. This is starting to look real clear. This is starting to look real clear. Yeah. Tommy. Yeah. So, the jury vote is just done. We have a top three at the moment, Tommy Cash, Anne Marlin, Yannick, followed by Andrzej Zevekin, Felin, and then Ant. Anyone below that probably can't get through just because they won't have enough televote points. Realistically, 12 points from the televote is definitely going to Tommy Cash. That means the maximum available to anyone else is 10. I don't know you, Jay. I'm a little surprised Tommy Cash came top.
Yeah, me too.
It's just the vocal was not great.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's entirely possible that he does just have the aura and we're just missing it. But let's see. We are now getting the public results and Jay is getting fries. So it's just me. Oh, the scoring system is actually different. It's 16 through to 1. And they're now announcing public vote in reverse from last to first. So, Tuli Rand finished last with the public. That puts them on 2 points, they're out. Stereo Terra, only 2 points. I thought they would do a little better than that.
Anna Salin, gratis.
Anna Salin gets 4 points. That takes us to 8 in total. We seem to have skipped 3. I don't know how this... Okay, I'm totally lost now as to what the scoring system is. So Jay asks, am I missing anything? The answer is yes, Jay.
Johanna Elise, palju õnne!
Johanna Elisa with 5. And I can see Jay approaching with his fries. This guy. Gem 98 gets 3 points. I don't understand how they're doing this.
I didn't even get fries.
We've now switched over.
Oh wow,
Not
okay
up to
girl.
10.
Minimal win.
Minimal wind, only 6 points. So that's the first of our top 5 prediction that I missed. I think it's not a massive surprise given the performance on the day. Hopefully they'll come back.
Listen, God, she didn't buy enough.
Elisa with 8 points takes up to 17. We haven't seen any of the top 6 announced. France Tikapoo next, surely. With 11 points. We have 9 points to give out, and then 12 through 16. Felin scores 9. That takes Felin to a total of 21. Unfortunately, that means mathematically she can't go through now. Ant scores 14.
Wow.
14, third with the public. I don't know if that'll be enough. He has 25 in total. There is still 12, 13, 15 and 16 to give out. This is very confusing. Everything's in Estonian. I have no idea what's going on. And Marlin got... How many points did she get? How many points?
How many points? I think they announced one of the super finalists.
Oh, right. So she's through. Woo! I guess. No one knows what's...
I don't know what's happening.
They're telling who's going to the superfinal.
Okay, so Anne Marlin's in the super final. This is one of the most confusing results reveals for a non-native speaker. Andrzej Zevekin!
Oh yes!
And Karita!
Oh my god!
Tommy is probably still on to win this, but that's one hell of a showdown. Andrzej and Tommy, both massive online followings. Andrzej, big support in the room. It's going to be very interesting to see how close it is. You can hear who the audience wants as that final super finalist. I think we all know who it is. And of course, Tommy Cash does go to the super final. I'm so happy for Anne Marlin, actually, who sounded amazing. I do think having Andrzej and Karita in there makes for a really interesting ending.
Because what if they split the vote?
Oof, I mean, that's interesting if they split the vote, but I think that would be really quite something.
Yeah.
Voting lines open again. We'll be back in a moment with the final result. See you there.
A few minutes later.
Super final results impending. They will announce the third place first.
Third place got 7%.
7%.
Yeah.
Wow. Third place to Anne Marlin. I suspected it would be that way. Two Televote powerhouses in Andrei Zevikin and Tommy Cash.
Very happy she made the super final.
Yeah. They're chanting his name in here.
Did you want to say the amount of percent he got? All he said was
The winner is Tommy Cash wins. Tommy Cash goes to Eurovision. As expected, I had the tiny bit of doubt. Just whether Andrei Zevikin, given how popular is he online, might just sneak it. But there we have the expected result. The door I thought would maybe crack open a little bit today. The jury made sure that wasn't possible. I didn't catch the exact number, but it sounded like it was overwhelming. As I said, needs an upgrade for Eurovision. Really needs an upgrade for Eurovision. As he walks past us now, needs an upgrade for Eurovision. Like I said, I have some reservations about the way he's conducted himself through this part of the process, but he's done it. The people have spoken overwhelmingly, by the sounds of it, for Tommy Cash. But we need to see something different from what we have seen tonight. It was enough, it won't be enough at Eurovision. Let's see what he's got. Tommy Cash, give us your best shot. We'll see you in May. When the dust has settled, we will be talking to Sydney Thompson to reflect on the result. Until then, we are going to sign off. We'll be back with you in a minute, but for us it's going to be 2 days. We will see you there. Time to click again and send us forward 48 hours. Quick interlude because we have just learned something extraordinary. Last week we talked about the Irish Eurosong gift bag. I give to you something extremely rare, the Eesti Laul prize gift bag.
There were 4 bags originally. We started condensing it to make it
What's
easier.
in this thing?
We have won a lot of yogurts.
Like
More
several
yogurts.
different types.
Many different types
Many of them were
yogurts.
sponsoring the event. There's a few Actimels in here, but called some. There were some cheese strings. We've already eaten them.
Yeah.
Some marzipan chocolates.
Marzipan. What's in the other ones?
So we've won a. You want to take over?
Well, we've got a load of Kinder Buenos.
Okay.
Which we'll take.
This
Again,
is giving like Spa gift hamper from Irish Eurosong last year.
The context, by the way, they called us up on stage like while the voting was taking place in the interval, just to say it's a talent show, perform a talent. Then I had my mate with me, and I said he could pick
him.
he could pick me up really high, and then he did, and we won. So we've got a flask of some kind,
Amazing.
And the grand
a
prizes
drink, but
are.
the grand prize is in here.
It is. We won a Kinder Bueno.
Yeah.
We won a seal plushie I'm hoping to give to a girl.
That's adorable. That's adorable.
And the grand prize we won, courtesy of Tallink, the sponsor, a free cruise in economy class to Helsinki.
Woo! That's amazing.
Which expires in June, so we're going tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. We had to share this with you, despite the fact I just lied to you and told you the next thing will be our reaction to the results. You're going to get that now. So here is me and Sydney in 2 days' time. And, well, I can't really click our way into here, but it is now Monday and a couple of days have passed. You may be wondering why we are standing here specifically and who this is. Firstly, this is Sydney Thompson.
hello.
Sydney is the most famous woman in Estonia.
That is very true.
Next, we are at the Tallinn Song Festival grounds, and there is a very important reason why we are here. The most important expression of Estonian culture, of Estonian nationality, is the Song Festival, which takes place on these grounds every 5 years. It literally made the basis of the Estonian national awakening a couple of 100 years ago. Given we're talking about a song competition, it felt appropriate. Why Sydney is here is because she knows much more about the Estonian music industry than we do, and about Estonians in general. What do Estonians feel? Now it's been 48 hours since the result. Are they happy? Are they sad?
I think the Estonian population is extremely happy. He won the televote by 83%, right? It is, to do those numbers and to get those amounts of votes, you have to be loved by the population. And I think before there was a little bit of like iffiness on with whether it's something that we do want or don't want. He just slayed the country, and I think everybody's really proud, especially given that he hasn't really done a lot of things in Estonia, but we as a population are extremely proud of him. He is the biggest like export artist we have So to have him go and represent the country it's actually awesome.
So he's the country's favourite.
Yeah.
I don't think he's our favourite.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but maybe he'll grow on everyone else as well, especially knowing how much he's really good at marketing and everything to do with visual stuff, so maybe he'll do something around that.
I do feel like we need to see a little bit more, because while Estonians love this, the response from the Eurovision fandom has been more mixed. And I'm going to throw up the Eurovision World page on screen right now, which shows that this song is currently sitting at about 2.9 stars as a rating from Eurovision fans. I was also a little bit disappointed in the stage show. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. Did you feel that too? And do you think we're going to see something different?
Absolutely. I hope we're going to see something different. With that performance per se, I don't know if a high place at Eurovision is granted. There needs to be more to the whole thing, and I feel like especially because the hype was so big, and he himself did this to himself, where you hype the whole population up and you're like, this is going to be the best thing ever, and then the music video is like, wait, and then it's like, yeah, actually that's coming later, and then we're like, okay, well at least the staging is going to be epic, and then it was also like, wait, the hype didn't really, it didn't get up to the hype, but I do hope that the staging will be a little more extravagant, because that's what he's good at. Show the people what you're brilliant at.
The other thing is, I don't think his vocals were that great either.
No.
And he'll get tanked by the jury if he sings like that at Eurovision.
Yeah. But there's a lot of time. Like whenever he said that he was gonna try and go to Eurovision, everyone was kind of like, okay, but you rap? You do sing? And then he didn't really sing, but it wasn't the worst thing, but obviously it could have been better.
And I think it benefits from the fact that this song obviously is in a low vocal register, relatively speaking, and it's not that, it doesn't sound bad even when it's sung badly, which is a benefit. Speaking of sounding bad, the production of the show, I kind of felt the artists came and did their job. It kind of felt like the production around them didn't do their job so well, and the big one that I'm really sad for still is Ant.
Yeah.
Opening the show with a song that clearly should not have opened the show. Being produced in a way that extra rehearsals were required just to get it in shape in time for the performance. I really felt, even though he ended up in the top 5, that's still a good result. It kind of felt like we didn't get the best that we could have had from that, and especially talking to him beforehand, he seemed really optimistic.
Yes, we all were, but being like inside of the whole thing, you see and hear a lot of things that make you think of things a lot differently as well. And I've notoriously been known as a person who loves to criticize Eesti Laul. It has been a big part of my brand and my whole personality. The main reason, like being on the inside and hearing the production people talk about stuff as well, is that Eesti Laul this year had so many more entries in the finals than ever before, but the rehearsal days were the exact same. So the people were really overworked. You have input coming from 16 different artists and their teams. They're yelling at you, you're trying to do your best, but you're tired. There's like 2.5 days of rehearsals. It doesn't work, and I hope that they learn from this, that rather than have so many people participating, pull it down a little bit, pick the greatest ones out there and put the best work into those, rather than having a lot of them.
And to give some perspective to that as well, the timings that were set out, there was 2 rehearsals. The first one, each artist got 45 minutes. Second was 25 minutes. And then that was, in theory, that was it before the dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Which is not very much time to start with. We talked about Ant specifically. In the dress rehearsal, the final rehearsal on the Saturday, during the performance, a stagehand fell over, a bit of the stairs came off and had to be reattached mid-performance. Also, you had the folk act, Rapina Jack. Their fireplace was meant to be put out by a blanket. They discovered in rehearsals the blanket wasn't putting the fire out, so instead a man had to walk on stage with a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher and just kind of go psh.
I didn't even know that.
Everyone agrees, including the people who I've spoken to behind the scenes on production, that 16 songs was too many.
Yeah.
I do want to give one more act that really, really surprised me in a really positive way, and I am delighted for, and that was Ad Marley.
Oh my god, I love her. I love the song, I love everything about it. I am so glad that she is getting the recognition she deserves. Give her the world, give her everything she wants.
Final thought,
I'm going to start and then I'm going to throw to you on this one because I don't think, and I'm sorry to say this, I think this song is coming like 12th in Eurovision.
12th is not bad.
It's not bad, but given the height of the expectations, I think there's going to be a jury issue. I think there's potential, and it's very much in his court. If he can elevate this as much as possible, maybe it can go a bit higher. But for me at the moment, that's where I'm seeing it. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think it's gonna go and peak as high as people are expecting it to. It's more the name that won rather than the song and the performance. But I have high hopes, and I think 12th place is great. As long as we're in the finals and on the first side of the votes, I'm good.
With that, this is actually where we are going to end for today. I'm really, really grateful to Sydney. I'm also really grateful to Ant and of course the one and only Kova. We are going to be back to regular service next week. I'm going to be sat yapping in my living room once again. For now, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to subscribe to Sydney as well, and follow her on Instagram too.
And push the bell notification.
Oh yeah, and also I always forget that one. Make sure to push the bell notification. With that, thank you so much Estonia for your incredible welcome. Thank you again Sydney. Thank you to the whole Eesti Laul team for producing an amazing show under extremely difficult conditions, and I will see you in 7 days.